reporting. This weekend, the Malaysian election is expected to be the closest ever, with the latest polling showing a 50-50 split between the government and the opposition. The ruling coalition has controlled Malaysia since independence 57 years ago and is warning of potential civil unrest if voters throw it out. Southeast Asia correspondent Zoe Daniel reports from Penang.
Lim Guan Eng is on the hustings. He's the Chief Minister of the state of Penang and the Secretary-General of the Democratic Action Party, one of three parties that make up the opposition coalition. And he's selling the idea that it's ready to become the national government. But he has to convince voters who may never have even considered voting against the ruling Barisan National Coalition.
Instead of being a contest of principles, ideas and policies, they have turned this into a contest of who can lie better, who can hit deeper, and of course who can threaten fiercer. I think this is not what the people want. What the people want is what is a better vision for Malaysia, because Malaysia deserves better.
Penang is an island of opposition control in a country that's been dominated by Malaysia's ruling coalition for 57 years since independence. It's one of 5 states taken by the opposition in 2008 in a shock result that stripped the ruling coalition of its 2/3 parliamentary majority. Lim Guan Eng says Penang is now a model for how the opposition might govern the country.
I think it's important that we've got a record of good governance, a record of good governance that delivers. And I think it has given us not only credibility, but also confidence that we can do a better job at the federal level.
Opposition leader and long-time political rival of Mahathir, Anwar Ibrahim, believes there's a mood for change and only one thing that can stop the government being thrown out.
Massive fraud. We have presented our case based on the March electoral roll, where we find even postal voters who are actually designated there as Bangladeshis or Pakistanis or Indonesians. So clearly there's a fraud there.
Penang is awash with the blue flags of One Malaysia, a taxpayer-funded campaign for national unity that was the brainchild of Prime Minister Najib Razak. Najib's ruling coalition has been accused of bribery, wooing voters with free meals to get them to attend its rallies, and has handed out billions of dollars worth of pre-election sweeteners. The local Democratic Action Party candidate, Jeff Oy, has uncovered what he says is blatant vote buying in his constituency in Penang.
We say Barisan win, you get it 160 ringgit. 160 ringgit.
He's lodged a police report over constituents' claims that they've been given lottery tickets and told to come back if the government is re-elected to pick up their reward.
How do you feel? 160 ringgit. Is your vote just this cheap?
No. How can we get for 160 ringgit for my vote? Shame for my country.
Jeff Oy says social media and internet news sites are the only means of countering what he describes as false information about opposition policy in the government-controlled mainstream media. That's predominantly about race, which plays a big part in Malaysian politics.
Race politics is very scary. We, especially DAP, face the wrath of Barisan National campaigners who have resorted to calling names, and they have issued booklets like this calling DAP being racist, and have these booklets distributed through the national mosques and the houses of worship. And they refer us to be being racist, anti the Malays. All this are basically news cuttings published in government-owned media, Utusan Malaysia. And this is being used so rampantly in order to split us. We talk about national unity, but Barisan National resort to divide and rule and call us the causes of all racial problems.
Malaysia's racial diversity is both its strength and its weakness. The country is 60% Malay, but also has large Chinese and Indian populations. Islam is the dominant religion. Internal bickering within the opposition coalition, particularly in relation to the potential for the imposition of Islamic law, has fed government warnings that if the opposition does take power, there may be a repeat of deadly race riots that took place in the 1960s. It makes no apologies.
This country is formed from a very different components of races. So the chaotic situation can be easily exploited. So both are playing such game. I don't deny that, yes, we are part and parcel of the game. I know it's not right.
But is there actually a risk of unrest, or is that just a political tactic, as you say?
Part of it, because we are cautioning the people, look, this country is so divided now.
The latest polls predict a knife-edge result, with the electorate evenly split just a few days out from the election. Whoever wins, change is already underway in Malaysia.
Everyone's talking about the same thing about getting equality, the fairness, so like in Australia you say, well, you're getting a fair go. So I think it's something that people want to see that across the board.
I knew we wouldn't get through without Gangnam Style. Southeast Asia correspondent Zoe Daniel reporting from Malaysia. And that's the program for tonight. Tomorrow night you'll have your state editions of 7:30 and I'll be back with you on Monday. Good night.